You won't believe this, fans of the season. The Curse of Oak Island, Season 13, Episode 23. Everything changes. And I mean that. I do not say everything changes lightly on this channel. I have been covering Oak Island for years, and I have learned to be careful with those words. But Episode 23 of Season 13 is titled Island Hopping. And what is about to happen in this episode is not just another dig update. It is not another caisson shaft and another bucket of limestone. This episode takes the entire mystery of Oak Island and stretches it across the Atlantic Ocean. Marty Lagina makes a deeply interesting discovery on Lot 8 at the very same time that Rick Lagina leads members of the team to the Portuguese Azores, 2,000 miles away, to uncover new ties between Oak Island and the Portuguese sect of the Knights Templar. Stay with me right to the end of this video because I am going to break down every single thread that leads into Episode 23, what the Azores trip actually means historically, what Lot 8 has been building toward all season, why the Knights Templar connection is stronger right now than it has ever been in 13 seasons of this show, and what I believe is coming in the episodes immediately after. There is a sneak peek breakdown. There is historical context you absolutely need before you watch this episode. And there is a moment coming up in this video, about halfway through, that I think is going to genuinely shock you about what the Azores might contain. Do not go anywhere. But first, if you are new here, welcome. This channel is built for fans of Oak Island who want to go deeper than the episode itself. We break down the history, the artifacts, the theories, the context, everything the show gives you, plus everything it does not have time to explain. Hit subscribe right now and tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode breakdown. The Oak Island community on this channel is one of the best on the internet, and I want you to be part of it. Now, before we get into Episode 23, we need to talk about what happened in Episode 22, Road Trip, because that episode is the direct launch pad for everything island hopping is going to do. Episode 22 was already one of the more significant episodes of this season. In the war room, Doug Crowell, Emiliano Sacchetti, and Judy Rudabush presented a detailed case for the Portuguese connection to Oak Island. And what they laid out was not vague. It was structured. Crowell outlined how the death of King Ferdinand I of Portugal in 1383 triggered a civil war, and how that political chaos may have motivated the Order of Christ, the successor organization to the original Knights Templar, to move treasures somewhere safer, somewhere remote, somewhere across the ocean. Then Emiliano dropped something that stopped me cold. He presented maps, dating from 1339 all the way to 1385, that already depicted the Azores. Think about what that means. The Azores are officially said to have been discovered by Portugal in 1427 under Prince Henry the Navigator. But these maps show the islands nearly a century before that official date. Somebody knew the Azores were there. Somebody was already navigating to them. And the theory the team is following is that the brothers Miguel and Gaspar Corte-Real, both from the Azores and both Knights of Christ, the Templar successor order, led undocumented expeditions that took them as far north as Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia, where Oak Island sits. And then, and this is the moment that set up Episode 23 directly, two pieces of physical evidence tied everything together. The Pit Blotto coin, which has long been linked to Portugal, and the stone shots. Multiple stone cannonballs found on Oak Island, including one recovered from the MS-1 spoils at more than 100 feet deep. A geology professor at Acadia University confirmed the stone shots may have originated in the Portuguese Azores. Marty Lagina said on camera that he is 90% certain these stones are projectiles from the 1300s or early 1400s. Medieval stone cannonballs in the Money Pit traced to a group of islands in the mid-Atlantic, associated with a secret order that survived the dissolution of the Knights Templar. And at the end of episode 22, Rick and Marty agreed. They are sending a team to the Azores. That is where episode 23 begins. Now, before I get into the Azores breakdown, and I promise you that section of this video is going to be worth the wait, I need to pause here and ask you something. I want to know how long you have been watching Oak Island. Drop your answer in the comments right now. Have you been watching since the very beginning in 2014? Did you join in the middle somewhere? Or are you a newer fan who has been catching up? Because the people who have been here longest know exactly how significant it is when this show leaves the island entirely. It does not happen often, and when it does, it matters. So drop your number in the comments. Let me know how many seasons you have been on this journey. Now, the Azores. Let us talk about what this place actually is, why it matters, and why Rick going there is one of the boldest moves this show has made in years. The Azores are a Portuguese archipelago sitting in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean. They are about 870 miles west of mainland Portugal and roughly 2,400 miles east of the North American coast. In terms of Atlantic geography, they are almost perfectly positioned between Europe and the New World. Any ship making a transatlantic crossing, particularly in the age of sail, would have used the Azores as a waypoint. They are not just scenic islands. They are historically one of the most strategically important pieces of land in the entire Atlantic world. Now here is the deeper layer that most people do not know going into this episode. When the Knights Templar were suppressed by Pope Clement V and King Philip IV of France in the early 1300s, arrested, disbanded, their assets seized, they did not simply disappear in every country. In Portugal, something different happened. The Portuguese king refused to persecute the Templars the same way France did. Instead, in 1319, the Order of Christ was established in Portugal. This was not a new organization. This was the Templars, rebranded, reorganized, and continuing under royal Portuguese protection. The Order of Christ inherited Templar assets, Templar properties, Templar knowledge, Templar maritime expertise, and crucially, Templar secrets. This is the organization that would go on to bankroll and carry out Portugal's great age of exploration. Vasco da Gama, Bartolomeu Dias, the ships that opened the sea routes to India, Africa, and the New World. All of them carried the cross of the Order of Christ on their sails, the same cross that was on the Templar battle flag. So when the Oak Island team follows the trail to the Azores and to the Portuguese sect of the Knights Templar, they are not following a fringe theory. They are following one of the most historically documented continuations of Templar influence in world history. The Order of Christ was real. Their maritime operations were real. Their wealth was real. And the Azores sat at the heart of their Atlantic network. Here is where it gets personal to Oak Island. The Azores were settled in the 1430s under Order of Christ oversight. But as episode 22 showed us, maps depict the islands a century earlier. If the Order of Christ was navigating to the Azores before official history records it, and if brothers from the Azores, Miguel and Gaspar Corte Real, both Knights of Christ, made undocumented voyages to Nova Scotia, then the question the show is asking is not crazy. It is actually quite rational. Did the Order of Christ, the Templar successors, use the Azores as a staging ground for a transatlantic operation that may have included depositing something important on an island off the coast of what would later become Canada? That is the theory. And what Rick and the team find in the Azores in episode 23 is described as new ties between Oak Island and the Portuguese sect of the Knights Templar. The word ties is significant here. Not hints, not possibilities, ties. connections, things that link the two places together in a way that can be examined, documented, and presented as evidence. And according to everything we know about the episode, that evidence includes structures. Ancient structures in the Azores that mirror things already found on Oak Island. Similar construction methods, similar symbols, things that, when placed alongside what the team has been digging up in Nova Scotia all season, begin to look less like coincidence and more like signature. The signature of the same people, working across the same ocean toward the same purpose. Now I want to talk about what I think is the most overlooked detail going into episode 23. Something that most Oak Island breakdowns are missing, and it connects directly to the Lot 8 discovery that Marty is working on at the same time Rick is in the Azores. Stay with me here because this is where it gets really interesting. All season long, Lot 8 has been producing evidence that points toward medieval activity on Oak Island. The team lifted a 40,000-pound boulder. They literally picked up a boulder the weight of a school bus and found underneath it a man-made stone platform. A cradle-shaped stone feature, hand-assembled, bonded with a mortar-like material that carbon dating suggests could reach back to the 13th century.